So today we're with Sebastian Flores, who has been contact traced and is now quarantined at the inn. So Sebas, our first question for you is, how were you notified that you were close contact, and like what did the process look like?
They call you and they're like, hey, you have been identified as a close contact. And they tell you sort of the process, what they expect you to do. And so usually if it's a group that's been declared as close contact, they have all of you go down to the health center on the same day, and they have you take a quick 15-minute rapid test. So if you live within 300 miles of campus, they tell you, listen, this is because you live within those boundaries, you will be sent home to quarantine.
So what was your emotional state like at the beginning?
Pretty terrible. I mean, 2 weeks is a long time. So like I got to my room and at first I'm like, perfect. I have my own space. I have a nice shower, a big bed. Like it was a nice hotel room. But like looking on the calendar in like 2 weeks, it was just like I couldn't even like comprehend how long that was, like being by myself. It was really hard to just be in this space by yourself, knowing you're not going to have contact for 2 weeks with people, and like knowing I'm stuck like pacing from the bathroom to the bed like for most of the day.
Do you feel like you have the same academic experience, or has that been hindered at all, being not on campus?
Yeah, so 3 of my classes are completely virtual anyway. So that like kind of made the transition easier in a sense, because those 3 classes, like nothing changed. It was completely normal. And my professors have been like super accommodating with either like recording the lecture or like letting me Zoom in. So it's definitely a little awkward when like I'm on the computer on Zoom and the rest of the class is in person.
There was just so many other things on my mind. Like, what were my other friends doing? Like, were they testing positive, or where were they? Like, there were so many other things in my mind that like going to class was like an afterthought. I had no motivation, and my mind was elsewhere, that like I would do things like the morning of or the night before.
Every day, like when I wake up, there's a text from the health center and you fill out like a form saying whether or not you have any symptoms as a close contact. But I think like a common misconception is that you can't leave your room, but like I can leave my room and walk into like the lobby and like be with the people there. So I like see someone every day. So if I disappeared for a few days, I think they'd wonder where I went.
How do meals work? Like, do they just like leave it outside your door? Do you go somewhere? And is the food any good?
So for meals, every day before, they send us a Microsoft form, and they ask like, oh, do you want breakfast? And you click yes, and then they give you like all the options that you have. They ask, do you want lunch? They give you all the options. Do you want dinner? All the options. What ends up happening is they take the bag of food, put it on your door handle, knock to let you know that like it's dinner, lunch, or breakfast. And then after that, they like leave, and after like a minute or two, you just reach outside, grab it, and bring it in.
For breakfast, they have like cereal, bacon, egg, and cheese, bagels, muffins, like things like that. Like dinner and lunch, there are like a burger, quesadillas, like popcorn chicken, I think. Like, and then you can get like a million sides. So like if you get like a pasta dish, you can also get like mac and cheese, a salad, a soup. There are tons of options, and some of the food has been like really good actually.
You tested positive, so you were in there for 10-ish days. What was the procedure like coming back into campus? Like, were you tested before you came back? Just kind of walk me through that whole process at the end.
It really wasn't much of a process. Your 10 days was up, and they called you and just made sure you had no symptoms within the past 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever, or like no fever or something like that. So it wasn't much of a process. It was just like, you're done, like you can leave.
Wow, well, that was some great insight into what life is like at the Villanova Inn, and thank you so much for talking to me today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.